So this is new. We've never done this before. Well, I've never done this before. This is welcome back everybody to my channel. I appreciate all 981 of you currently. This is my boy Nate. We met high on Mount St. Hilary. So this is new. This is a new little, and we might try to do this again at some point if there's any positive feedback whatsoever. We are at ToyCon, New Jersey. This is my first one. We're in Parsippany right now. So this is some stuff. I don't know if you actually saw this in your travels across the net in the last couple of weeks, but we have a new company called Final Victory, and they're doing some masterpiece figures, 3 of them, and we'll talk about them one by one real quick. But we have a masterpiece Brawn here. What do you think?
And we're just talking about Final Victory. We're not talking about Fans Toys yet.
Right.
Okay. I think that looks great. The head is very close to what I want out of a Brawn.
Yeah, it's very cartoon. Well, not cartoon accurate, but it's like it's cartoon accurate, but still realistic looking.
Right,
kinda,
right. It's not.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, so when I look at Brawn, I want a juggernaut kind of head.
Right.
Like, that's what I want. I want that cartoony giant thing, and no one's done it. Bad Cube was pretty close. But like, no one's gone to that extreme, because you're right, it looks ridiculous. Yeah. And what we'd like out of the masterpiece is looking a little bit better than what the show looked like.
A little bit better than ridiculous.
Right. And so this is nailing it, except it's doing everything right except for the tires on the calves.
Is that unforgivable, or is it just because it's just not accurate to the cartoon?
It's forgivable.
Yeah.
It's forgivable. I think it's good. I think it's 30% different than the cartoon model.
Right.
What do you think?
I think I like the whole thing. I think there might be something that bothers me about the feet look a little. The legs and the feet look a little bit too. Might be a little too big. I don't know. It's not really bothering me a whole lot. But if I had to nitpick it, that would be it. And another thing, and I know they're mini bots, but they've gotten so good with articulation and stuff that I'm a little bummed out that the hands are fixed.
There's no swivel there? Oh, you're saying there's not even a pin.
There's no pin in the finger, so the hands are just completely and solely. Now I'm cool with them all being on one pin, as long as the hand can open and close a little bit, and those are completely, they're like legends, you know what I mean? Yep. Like just completely fixed. It's not a deal breaker, but it is kind of a bummer. Yeah. It is kind of, and you're gonna see that with a couple of other Final Victory offerings that are on the way, that they're all the same. But overall, I like it. And you know what? The head sculpt is cool. And I heard Ryan Sheehy, who does the TFCon panel, the third-party panel, he actually made a comment that makes a lot of sense. He said it almost looks like a dude wearing a helmet. Yeah. It doesn't so much look, and which is cool. I dig that. You know what I mean? It does kind of look like a battle, like a helmet, which is kind of nice. See if I got any alt mode. Let's see what we got here. Nope, I have no alt mode, but there's
no, it looks good. Yeah. I mean, this isn't a case of if I didn't know that something else that... Right. Like... So does that look better than Bad Cubes? Yes.
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
that is a step up. So if that were the only next possible offering, I would be very, very intrigued. But you're right, the lack of pin at the knuckle is kind of a bummer.
So let's since we don't have to do this by company, so since we're talking about Brawn, why don't we just go
to the Fans Toys.
We'll go right to the Fans Toys one. There it is.
Oof.
Yeah, it's pretty damn nice, man. It's pretty damn nice. It's like right on the money. Like, dude, I try to look at Fans Toys stuff with a clean slate, like it's not Fans Toys. I just want to look at it and judge it on its own merits rather than knowing it's going to kick ass because it's a Fans Toys product. But even that way, like I look at that and it's like, man, that is really nice looking, man. Really nice looking.
Yep, super tight. So that's what I was getting at with the tires.
Right, like, being on the back.
What they've done here with hiding them and giving it the exact line that is in the animation model. Yeah, it's just beautiful. It's really well done. I think that this has a little bit of what we saw with Z-Spray, of that Brawn goes to the gym.
A little more athletic looking.
He lost a couple of pounds, and I'm all right with it. But again, now I'm like, oh, does this mean I'm also going to buy the Takara when that comes around? Because
you think that's going to happen?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. There will be a Takara. I mean, inside the next decade.
Well,
they're gonna do it. They announced that they were gonna do. Well, they just said all the car bots, right? Did they say all the ARC? I thought they said all ARC bots, but
I remember maybe seeing that or reading it somewhere, but I don't remember the source.
Right.
But I mean,
okay,
we could probably count on it because they'll eventually get to all of them, I would imagine.
Right. So, but looking at this now, like this is the upgrade for me.
Yeah. Nice Jeep mode too.
Yep. So you said you try to look at him every Fans Toys offering with a clean slate. So
yeah.
you're doing that now with this.
Seeing this one versus the other one. Now, I'm not going to say that I don't like small things about the Final Victory one a little better, but as a whole, like overall, like I really like that a lot, man. I really like that a lot, and I'm glad that there's other options because I feel like maybe that because I usually try to split the mold between companies that an Outback will come from another place that's better looking. And I have the Outback, the Bad Cube Outback, but like we were saying before, like the Final Victory one kind of looks better than the Bad Cube. At least the two of us it does. I wouldn't mind an Outback looking like that, you know?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a Final Victory Outback because I don't have an attachment to the way that Outback's cabs are supposed to look.
Right.
You know, I don't care. So
let's move on to the next Final Victory. So we got a Huffer. There he is with his animation model. His head. Tell me who his head reminds you of.
Magneto.
He does. He looks like Magneto a little bit.
He does.
But I think.
See, we got. Well, I mean, how intentional do you think that was when you had Marvel artists doing Transformers?
Yeah.
Back in the day, like some of these helmets, like Juggernaut.
Yeah.
Is Brawn. Like Brawn is the Juggernaut.
You know who Brawn actually reminds me of? Brawn reminds me of Man at Arms.
Yeah.
If you could picture that.
Yeah.
Same colors and everything.
Yep.
A little bit. But this dude does kind of look like Magneto a little.
Probably the same voice actor.
But
okay, but yeah, so Magneto a little bit, but
that says the same thing. The wheels on the side rather than hidden. I don't know how much that bothers you. And here he is in comparison with there's the Bad Cube one.
I just got the new Bad Cube one, a TF-Con ago or so.
Yeah.
And for me, that was all I will ever need out of a Huffer. Like, it was a really, really nice upgrade from their first Huffy. But looking at this, so that cleans up the Bad Cube already cleaned up the wheels, did them nicely for me, and now we have a new one that doesn't do it. So I think it looks pretty, but I'm all set.
Yeah, I think that one. I didn't get the old Bad Cube or the new Bad Cube one, I should say. The old Bad Cube one I still have. That is actually when they were Cubex Engineer Huff.
Yep.
And as far as I'm concerned, same thing, man. Huffer's just not as important a character that I would need to replace stuff. So I'm kind of good on that. But if I didn't have one and I was looking at these two, it would be a tough decision because I do like both for different things. I think I actually like the proportions on the Final Victory one. I like the feet. I like the feet better, even though the feet on the Bad Cube one are probably a little bit more cartoon accurate. But man, it's just so many choices, man. So many choices. But I'm glad I don't have to make it.
The Final Victory one looks more posable.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is, but that torso looks like you can do more with it.
I do like the way at least Bad Cube, and I'm going to see if I can find one from the back. There's one from the back of the Final Victory. And it looks like the major hurdle you have when you're making a Huffer is having one that doesn't have the entire cab hanging off the back so far that it can't stand up. And that looks decent. And I think the new Huffer, and you can tell me because you have it.
Yeah.
Does it collapse in a little bit? Yeah. I wish I would have did that with their pipes because their pipes still looks ridiculous.
It does. It does look ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's inexcusable.
Yeah.
I won't buy it.
It looks so weird that because I have X-Transbots pipes, and X-Transbots pipes is terrible, and I still couldn't bring myself to buy the Cubex or the Bad Cube one because it still didn't fix the major issue with any pipes, but let's forget about pipes. Get back to Hover. Or let's forget about Hover too. I think we've done talking about Hover.
Sorry, Hover.
Sorry,
I mean,
Hover.
You're a great looking figure. It's just not in my wheelhouse.
Right. On the final victory tease that we got a prototype here for a Warpath.
Yep. Which also, again, it's another case of like
looks better than the old one, but not as good as what's coming.
Yeah. And again, it's all Bad Cube stuff, right? That's getting hammered against. Here. The Brawn.
Yeah. These are all
Brawn, Huffer, and Warpath. They're all things that Bad Cube have attempted, and this is a more G1 aesthetic across the board.
Oh, big time.
So anybody who is looking to replace or upgrade, this would have been a no-brainer. And then Fans Toys is like...
It's screwing everybody over.
Guess what? I'm going to come play too.
Well, the thing... This Warpath that we're looking at, this Final Victory Warpath, to me, looks like... You know how the Fans Toys did like the cartoon Dinobots, and then you had Gigapower that did like the toy Dinobots?
Yeah.
This, to me, looks like a toy representation. Like an updated toy representation.
Okay.
Especially when you see him in tank mode, which of course I might not have. I'll have to dig that up for when I do the editing for this video. But he's not, like, you know how Bad Cube's tank was a legit tank, man. Like he looked, and this one, when you transform this one, the Final Victory one, he just looked like, it looked like a toy tank.
Yeah. At
least in gray prototype mode.
Yeah.
But to me, it looks more toy accurate than cartoon accurate. And the one thing that I can see right away, and I don't know if it's mistransformed or if it's something that's gonna stay how it is, but it looks like the ankle tilt. It looks like this is the front of the shin
is gonna go with it.
Is attached to the ankle tilt, which when he's standing straight up and down looks fine because it all kind of lines up together. But you see what I'm talking about?
I do.
His left,
like
but our right.
Looks like he's broken his shin.
So if he's like totally in a wide stance, that's going to look completely and totally ridiculous.
Yep.
But that being said, on the off chance that is a mistransformation and there could be something done with that, he's not really bad looking. Looks pretty decent. So while we're talking about Warpath, let's fast forward to.
Where do you come down on, like the Datsuns looked like real life cars, right? And then we have this shift, and I mean, some of it's because we're moving into movie figures, and those don't look like real life anything anyway.
Right.
But what is your preference? Would you rather have something look like a real life vehicle or the cartoon?
I would rather have a realistic approach to it. I would have a realistic approach to. I like the older masterpieces. Not that I don't like the newer masterpieces, but I prefer like Make Toys Seekers compared to the MP11s is a perfect example. I like the mold, the silhouette, so to speak, I guess, of the Make Toys Seekers. I think they look great, you know, and they fix a lot of the problems of the MP11. But like all the line work and the extra little detail and everything like that on the MP11s, I wish was on the Make Toys Seekers.
Yep.
And I don't know if it makes sense to me because I'm into art and drawing and animation and all that stuff, as you are as well. The reason all that detail, the reason that the cartoons weren't as detailed is because they would have had to draw all that shit on it.
Yeah.
So I think if the artist could snap their fingers and just
do all
that
time
and have it,
and the budget,
then it would have been in there.
Yep.
And then the cartoon accurate masterpieces would have been realistic.
Yeah.
So this whole shift towards the dumbed down aesthetic of the simple masterpiece stuff really is just a matter of the artist not having the time and it not being financially capable of like paying artists to do all that stuff, you know. So I really prefer the old way. I like the realistic vehicles and all that and whatever, you know. It's not like you looked at him and it's like, oh, well, that doesn't look like the character. Of course it looks like the character. It's just a little, we're all older and we're all more mature, and I use that term as loosely as possible. So you would want our figures to maybe carry a little bit of that with them.
Yep.
In my opinion. I don't know if you feel the same.
I 100% agree.
And
that brings us to Fans Toys 41.
Yeah, and this Warpath is, I feel like Fans Toys does a very good job of doing exactly what we just talked about. Because when I look at this Warpath, I mean, it's proportioned nicely. The silhouette is very cartoon accurate because he is a little more like athletic looking, as opposed to the Bad Cube one that looked like, you know, he was a meathead kind of. But all that being said, if you look at him, he's got a ton of detail, a ton of detail in there.
Yep. Rivets.
Yeah, a lot of line work, rivets everywhere. You know, I mean, I have a feeling that if Takara came out with a Masterpiece Warpath, it wouldn't look like this. It would be a lot simpler looking.
Yeah, no, it would be. It would try and match the toy, I think.
See if we got him. So we got him.
And so, I mean, so does this though. That looks just like the toy.
Yeah. Whoever Digibash that killed the red, man.
Oh yeah.
Just matched the red and the gray.
Yep, 100%.
But yeah, that's
I love that because a lot of my associations. Yes, I sat and I watched the cartoon every morning as a kid.
Yeah.
But most of it was me messing around with my toys out in the woods. So it's, for me, the nostalgia is toy accuracy.
Right.
So when I get a Masterpiece and it's aiming for the cartoon, I'm like, the cartoon was the best they could do at the time. And now we're, like you said, older and more mature. I want the best we can do now.
Right, right.
So, but this nails it. This nails that toy aesthetic.
Yeah.
And then gives me a robot mode that looks like the cartoon.
And I'm not going to say that the Bad Cube version is bad, because I think we can agree it's really good.
Yeah.
And it looks good. And I know the transformation maybe has some people tearing their hair out of their head. But all that being said,
second time, it's so easy.
I bet there's a lot of War Dogs on eBay as we speak.
Yeah.
After
no doubt.
GFCon.
No doubt. You played the game, the Fall Cybertron game, right?
I did, yeah, I did.
When Warpath shows up in that, like, that's kind of how I view that Bad Cube Warpath, like just big beefy. That's fine.
All right.
It's better than the actual character with the Kablamo, Zappo, Howie.
So up next, this is who is this?
Which Deathsaurus?
Okay, this is MMC Deathsaurus. This is the Continuum version.
Oh, this is DZEF or?
Yes.
Okay.
This is DZEF Continuum. So they've been doing this thing. They did it with Overlord too. They put out the regular Carnifex, but then they put out the quote-unquote Continuum upgrade kit, which was the engines. Because when they because they're more IDW based, but I guess enough people want some G1 aesthetic, and so they do this Continuum thing to make it a little bit more G1 for people. So the other one, I don't know if I have the other one in here or not, but so there's the other one, regular DZEF, and then there's a DZEF Continuum. So the wings are obviously different.
Yep.
And it's a different head sculpt. Like, this is definitely like the IDW head, and then when you look at the Continuum one, that's definitely more of a G1 head. And you know what? I like the option. I don't know who's going to get the Continuum one because it's more of a G1 thing, and most of the G1, the slavish G1 stuff is more Masterpiece scaled, and this is definitely Chug scaled.
Right.
I'm sure somebody will buy it. I definitely like the Continuum.
Still have Chug collectors. They still exist, especially after Titan's return. Like, they came out of the woodwork for that. So.
Yeah. Overall, though, you can see that the dragon head is a little different. It's funny that the Continuum is more G1. The G1 one definitely looks like an angry chicken.
Yeah, it does. So I think both of us are out on this. Right. We don't collect that scale and that.
Right.
But they look great.
They do look great.
The sculpting is always really nice, and then you wonder, like, all right, what else are they going to turn it into?
Yeah, and I don't know. And they might have did the Continuum thing to get to cash in on both, because there really weren't any repaints of that stuff.
Beast Wars Megatron, maybe.
They might. Yeah, they might
get out of that.
Well, MMC definitely. Yeah, they definitely do milk a mold, man. They might be the leading mold milkers of the whole third party.
What you got over there? Is that a mold?
One thing I can say though is that as time goes on, I'm loving it that the Japanese characters are getting some love, because You know, we didn't really hear a whole lot about them. You know, the Overlords and the Star Sabers and the Victory Leos and the Death Stars of the world. So it's cool. It's cool that we have, you know, Leo Kaiser and this guy and the Road Caesar team. You know, I mean, they eventually had to go to it because as they do all the American characters, they got to go somewhere. But it is nice to see some of these Japanese characters get some love.
How many Japanese collectors do you encounter though? Because like I don't delve into it all that much.
I think before IDW started doing their thing, probably not very many, because like me, I didn't even know a lot of that stuff existed. How you guys doing?
How's it going?
I didn't even know the Japanese stuff existed until somebody turned me on to it. And then once that happened, that guy cost me a lot of money, by the way.
Yeah.
Because I had to go back and collect all that stuff.
G1.
Yeah.
Now that they're going to do it at MP.
So, well, it was just because I went back and got all the G1 stuff at that point. You know, and this was in the late 90s, 10 years after all that stuff had come out already. But I didn't really encounter a whole lot of like Japanese Transformer, G1 Transformer collectors until IDW came along and started introducing Overlord and Death Stars, you know, and all those characters, the Star Sabers and the Zai Atlas and all that stuff. And then once you see them in the comic book, which is a lot more accessible, people started seeing the characters and they started giving them personalities and stuff. And, you know, then you get a taste of them and you start going back and finding out more about them.
Yep.
So I think there's more now. There's still not a ton, but I think there's more now than there used to be. And I guess at least warrants doing some figures because they wouldn't do them if they weren't making any money off them. So.
Well, I mean, we're just a small portion of the market.
Right.
So,
okay, so
Bumblebeast.
Yeah, I'm not going to collect any of these because I will, and not that I would collect the weird ones, but like all the, you know, the G1 ones, I guess. Mm-hmm. I would end up wanting to get, and I just can't. And I'm counting on other people to buy this stuff. That way I can go play with it.
Right.
Like Levy.
Yeah.
Or maybe Jed. Jed won't get it.
Right.
It's so, man, it's such a.
So the drawing looks great. I downloaded both books. There's 2 books.
Yeah.
And there's some crossover, but the drawings look great. But this figure looks even better. Like a bumblebee that turns into what, a tiger? He's like, yeah.
Like a lion or a tiger, some sort of Wait, let's see what the drawing was. Yeah, it definitely looks more tigerish. Maybe like a leopard. He's lean. He's a little more lean than a lion, I guess, but just very cool looking.
Did you read the Hearts of Steel books?
Where
the trains?
Yeah.
So the first few pages were they were here battling as like dragons and beasts and beetles and things prior to the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah.
And then they woke up and changed forms again. So
that's what all these are based on?
No.
Okay.
I'm just saying, but with that in mind, I can look at this and be like, okay, yeah, if that was the timeline, Bumblebee would have been here as this tiger thing, possibly.
Right. So there it is, Bumblebeast.
There it is. I'll pick up 1 or 2 of these.
Yeah. Which 2 are you thinking?
Well, the Sideswipe looks really badass, so I'll probably pick that up, and I might pick this up. But
he said might.
No, I mean, I really like this design. It's gorgeous.
Yeah,
the sculpt work is awesome. It looks like that thumb is articulated. It's got hand articulation. Like, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, I agree. I'll be by to check them out after you.
Yeah. The Starscream as a falcon.
As a bird, yeah.
That looks.
I have that.
Unbelievable.
Let's talk about that. I got that right here. So there's Starscream as a bird.
But in his, So
there's robot mode.
There's his robot mode, and it looks very like.
Looks like Transformers Prime, I think, or which Starscream kind of looked like that? Was it Transformers Prime? Transformers Animated, maybe, or one of those?
Transformers Prime. If he had skinnier wings instead of those big fat wings.
Yeah.
He looked a little. He was more svelte.
Right.
He was more lithe. It was a very skinny, wiry thing, but it's in the face sculpt too. You're right. That's a nice crossover reference, but I think he looks fantastic.
Yeah, this is
in both modes. I think he's a great-looking Starscream robot, and then in that What is that? Is that a falcon? No, it's like
a vulture or something, or like some sort of. Well, we can agree that he's a bird. Yeah. Not exactly sure what kind of bird. It's like, yeah, he looks great. What is he? That's a great looking. I have no idea. Yeah, man. The one thing that impresses me about all these and all the companies that are doing them are doing a nice job of it. They're making, well, the Rodimus Prime one not so much because they didn't really try to do it, but like this one and the Sideswipe one especially are making it a little more. I don't want to say G looking one because that's obviously not G looking one or G looking, but it's G1 inspired, where he looks like he turns into a jet.
Right.
I think we can agree on that.
Yeah, yeah.
But then he turns into a bird.
Yep.
And it was the same thing with the Sideswipe. Like when I saw those, like his robot mode still looks like he turns into a Lamborghini.
100%.
But then he totally turns into a bull. Like, yep. So I kind of dig how the engineering, and there's people that are making these that are way smarter than me. Let's put it that way.
Well, I'm looking forward to getting that Sideswipe and having the two of them stand on the shelf next to each other for a minute.
So you're thinking the Starscream, you're probably in on the Starscream one?
Yeah, I think I'm in on the Starscream. I think I'm in on the Sideswipe. I don't think I'm in on the Wheeljack, but I think it looks cool.
Yeah, we're looking at, well, we got a couple here. We're looking at, so we got a Wheeljack.
Wolfjack.
Wolfjack, yep. And then they're also doing some legends. It's TT, is that what it was? TT Hongley? Let me go look at the name. TT Hongley model, whatever that is.
Okay, so that's a Prowl.
It's a Legends IDW looking Prowl. Yeah, he's definitely a wolf. I don't have that. Maybe I don't have that picture in here. I thought I did. But these are some Legend size, what I believe are IDW style Transformers. There's the smokescreen. There's Wolfjack.
In a resin.
Yeah, so we really can't take that good of a look at it. Yeah, so that's what we're looking at there from TT Hongley, whoever that might be.
Mm-hmm. It's a great time to be a collector, especially if you're into these legends. You're getting all kinds of options.
I think, yeah, that's the whole thing, man. Like I love all the choices. You know, I think, and all these choices are really, I think, are going to make everybody try to step their game up. Because if you're the only game in town, you can slack off a little bit and people still be on board or whatever. But the fact that there's so much stuff out there, you know, the cream is going to rise to the top, hopefully, and we're going to see this bring out the competitive spirit of some of these companies and really make some good stuff. But it is definitely cool. And the one thing about this company, and it's the wild card, this company and like a company like Final Victory, we have no idea where they are or who they are, where they came from. So the quality, like when we talk about comparing it to Badcube or comparing it to Fantoys or some existing company, we know what we're getting because we've gotten their stuff before. These guys, you know.
Right, it's just rumors of who's working with who.
Right. So I guess we'll see. Maybe we get lucky and it's like a Fans Hobby, like his Fans Hobby kind of came out of nowhere and right out of the gate, you know, they were good. So.
Solid products. But yeah, that's Starscream, man. No rays and everything.
Yeah.
It looks like he's got a cockpit on his chest.
Yep. Yeah, dig it. We're going to look at some X-Transbots prototypes. We saw them before TFCon on the internet, and then I actually got to see them in person at TFCon Chicago. And so we saw an Elita 1. We saw an Autobot Spike or an Autobot X, whatever you prefer. And then we saw the Quintesson, like a Quintesson Bailiff, I think, or the Quintesson Executioner, or whatever that guy, whatever his official title was. So some people look at this stuff, and we were talking about the G1 crowd kind of being bummed out because things are slowing down or whatever. Some people are looking at that as a negative. I'm looking at this very positively because even though they're doing these obscure ass characters, and I'm like, they're doing these obscure ass characters, man. Like, bring them.
Please, bring
them.
Like, they will get to you. If you have your character that's not out yet, just fucking, guess what? Just survive. Just keep going to work and paying your bills and getting up each morning and exercising from time to time, and one day, if you live long enough, your character is going to get made.
like the bot, the B-O-T bot from that one episode. It'll get made. It looks like a bowling ball with a pair of legs on it, but whatever. Like, it'll get made. I mean, and it's so true. I mean, like, Alita 1, at least she was in a couple episodes, and the Quintesson guard or whatever, like, he was at least in a number of episodes. Yeah. Autobot Spike was in like a half an episode.
Yep.
But we got him.
And he was pissed about it.
And he was pissed about it.
I don't want to be here.
And truthfully, I'm super happy that we're getting this stuff. Like, to me, when I think about my complete collection, at the end of the day, I think I want to be able to, like, look at my collection and see every episode. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Down to the most obscure stuff, man. You know, even like the weird stuff, like in the episode with Omega Supreme when he's telling Prime the story about being back on Cybertron, and the Blue Guardians and stuff, and there was the Robo Smasher. Like, give me the Robo Smasher. As dumb as that is, like, give me the Robo Smasher, you know? So I'm psyched about this stuff, man. And I gotta imagine that the Autobot Spike and the Quintesson
are non-transforming.
Non-transforming, so, you know, they're probably going to be pretty solid and pretty articulated, I would imagine, because if you ain't got to worry about a transformation to get in the way of everything, you could really do a lot with an action figure.
Yeah, and if they mess that up, then no, you shouldn't buy it. Like,
right.
It seems like a simple thing that they can do for us.
I actually saw some people online complaining, like, oh, it's going to be non-transformable. Well, I don't want to be Captain Obvious, but if you go back and watch the episode, he never transformed.
Yep.
He was a bunch of spare parts, and you're getting a bunch of spare parts.
Yeah, I would love it if they partially transformed. Like, if these are, like, it looks like they've got bits from their Trailbreaker. Right. It looks like they've got bits from, oh, shit.
That looks like Hound. We got Hound right here. We got Sunstreak here. Definitely Trailbreaker there. A little bit of Prowl, it looks like.
Yeah.
There's Prowl's chest. Yeah.
So hopefully it does a couple of these things, but nothing quite works.
Right.
Which would make him feel even more genuinely like Autobot Spike. Like,
yeah,
you cobbled together this thing. What am I?
I'm going to say this in a very loving way, but this is a piece of junk.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we want it to be. A piece of junk. A bunch of pieces of junk.
Speaking of which, I want to talk about something that didn't show up in the panel and didn't show up in any way, shape, or form in future reveals, and that is the other Junkions from X-Transbots.
Yeah.
Or from KFC.
KFC, yeah.
From KFC. Like, they showed us renders a while back.
Right, 4 new ones.
Let's
get on them.
Let's get on that.
Because they're basically done. You just got to do the extra parts that are a little different. I love the one with the spiked tire right in the middle of his chest. I can't remember what his name was.
Yeah. Put them in the schedule while I still care.
Yeah, yeah.
Before Fans Toys makes them. Because you know that they're going to. They're doing everything else from the movies.
Well, the problem, at least for a collector like me, because I troop built Insecticons, anything that showed up in grand fashion.
Junkion's fine. You're going to
Junkions, I hope other companies don't come out with Junkions. Because I'm just going to get them. Because you know what, KFC, they're doing 4 new ones. And there's actually like a number of other Junkions that were not named in the movie, but they, in later fiction, ended up naming them.
Yep.
Nancy, there was a female one named Nancy. There was a couple other, like, quote-unquote male ones. I know they don't have genders anymore. But, like, I'll get all of... Like, if they come out with 20 Junkions, I'll have 20 Junkions. Mm-hmm. And it really pisses me off about myself, but...
It's fine.
It is what it is.
Yep.
So Autobot Spike looks good, and there's really not a whole lot to talk about it. That Quintesson guard, it's going to play the part. It looks good. So this Alita 1...
And I don't have as much interest in the Quintesson guard, but I know that if I don't get it when it comes out, then they are going to come out with Quintessons, and I'm going to get those, and then I'm going to be like, oh man, I missed out on the Quintesson guard.
I'm surprised that nobody's come out with Quintessons. Like, in a time right now, like, where we get all these Menasors and all these Combaticon teams and all that. There's a few avenues. Now I understand, like, they're not going to go right away into, like, the Target Master Juniors or some obscure stuff, that maybe only a few of us will be into. But, like, the Quintessons were a big piece of Transformers history. So the fact that nobody's bothered, especially because they don't transform, they won't really have to do a whole lot, The fact that we don't have them. All right, you're thinking...
I'm thinking they okay. Here's what they need to do.
Ones that's like you hit a button and they switch heads.
Yes.
Yeah.
I need the heads to spin when you push a button.
Yeah.
I want eyes to light up. Because remember, it doesn't transform, so I need it to do something.
Some bells and whistles.
So
I want it to be blowing some energy out the bottom of it because they float.
Yep.
On a stand.
And I want articulated tentacles.
We'll get articulated tentacles. I think we will. Did you mess around with TFC 10 to kill? TFC, I can't remember. 1,000 kills.
No, but I mean, I could see it and I could see what it could do.
Yeah, bro. What's going on?
How you doing?
All right, how are you?
I'm good.
I have no clue what we were talking about. Were we talking about Alita 1 or were we talking
about
something else?
About to get to Alita.
Okay.
We were finishing up on Quintessence.
Oh, Quintessence.
And what they need to do. So yeah, they need to be able to do all that stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I'm all right with them not. I can see where somebody would want them to. Because like, I don't know, most of the time like with my figures and stuff when I get into doing diorama type stuff or Photoshop type stuff, I do the effects all myself, so it doesn't bother me a whole lot if they don't.
Oh, and I want the jaw to move.
But yeah, I could definitely see where somebody would want the bells and whistles, the extra bells and whistles for sure.
Yeah, I want you to be able to hit a button, the head spins, and then I want the jaw to go for innocent. You know, like, I think that's not too much to ask.
I don't think so either.
Alita 1.
Alita 1. So this is going to be a door opener, I think, for X-Transbots. Because I think that if she does well, I think they may do Chromia. And they may do some of the other, Firestar and maybe some of the other fembots. Mm-hmm. Especially because they weren't just a one-episode thing. They did actually appear in a few. I know War Dawn was one of them, but I think they did appear in a couple other episodes. But, man, I'm happy about it, Especially because they never had toys back in the day. So it's kind of cool to see some of those characters that never had toys. And I actually have another video in the works, the top 10 masterpieces that must happen before you can consider your collection complete, and that's not going to be the title because that's too long of a title.
Right.
But these fembots were at like number 8.
Okay. And you group them as like a 1, but
yeah, I grouped them as 1 because it's I want to see some of these. I want to see Nightbird. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to give any more away, but it was all characters that didn't have toys back in the day, that only had cartoon appearances, and so I love that they're doing this, and I hope it's good.
I hope it's good too. It looks good.
Yep, it definitely does.
They're on a run.
Yeah, they are on a run. These days, I know people had a little bit of problems with skids. Some people did. Me and you got lucky. We personally didn't have any problems, but outside of that, they're on a streak. Like, I'm buying X-Transbots a lot more confidently than I used to.
Fans hobby double evil.
Yeah, I don't. There's not really much to talk about here because we've seen this for so long.
Yep.
And they've been teasing it for so long, and they're slowly making their way to production. I just want the damn thing because I've seen it 2 times now. Once at the last 2 TFCons ago, and this past TFCon he was there and he had a fully painted. I think the jet or the tank. I think the tank was fully painted. Man, and he's at a good price point too, $225 for a figure that's like 15 or 16 inches high, tall. So,
and like you said earlier, Fans Hobby came right out the gate with solid builds.
Yeah,
like they were big chunky figures. I didn't get the Monster Bots, but I got Arch Enemy.
Yeah,
and it's a big chunky figure that is going to hold together and be just fine in 10 years.
Right. Yeah, I did get the Monster Bots, and I feel the same way about them. Like they're nice figures, man. They're definitely not. You're not afraid of them when you're transforming them. You could actually like mess with them. So, and this looks good, man. I got rid of my Carnifex a while ago, not because I thought Carnifex was bad. I thought it was really good, but again, a G1 collection, you kind of need this double evil in your life. So,
like Carnifex is a beautiful figure.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just.
Yeah. Wow, somebody is getting into the Bee Gees over there, boy. Man. You could tell it's getting late on a Sunday because people are starting to act a fool around here. All right, Giga Power. Did they do their Grimlock yet? I don't think they did. No. So we got Swoop. They're showing their red Swoop and their blue Swoop with one of the coolest, weirdest bases. And what's up, Soups?
Superman,
Wonder Woman. How are you? This is one of the most extravagant toy bases I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're lights. I feel like I see a button or something on the back of there.
Yeah, I think they're lights. I think they're all spotlights.
And it's in the shape of, I don't know if you noticed or not, but it's in the shape of an Autobot symbol. I think it's definitely a cool base. But so yeah, we got the red swoop and the blue swoop.
I think the blue swoop looks great. I think the red swoop, there's something about it that,
not feeling it.
I don't know. I guess I've always been a swoop has a blue chest kind of guy.
Yeah, I agree.
Love the weapons though, with the Giga Power stuff, with the flame effects.
Yeah, and the flames come off the swords, correct?
Yeah.
This is the missiles firing out of the guns is awesome. Like with the tail behind it, I have yet to see anything like that. I think that's cool as hell.
I don't think anyone has done anything like that ever, and it's beautiful.
I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't display it like that, but I would take photos of it like that for sure.
Yeah,
like I think that'd be
100%.
awesome. And they fixed the face. The face still isn't. He's not the most attractive of bots, but he's definitely. I don't know if you saw the face the last time.
No, I didn't see it.
He looked.
Well, I didn't pay it any mind because I knew that I had my fans' toys and I was good.
Yeah,
but,
he looked ridiculous.
So this has always been a pet peeve of mine when people make fun of the faces or face sculpts.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, the nose is weird, blah 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 blah. I'm like, is your face perfect? Are you the most beautiful thing that ever walked onto the face of the planet? Does your nose look like the guy who works next to you? Does it look like your mom's or your dad's? They have different noses, right? Like, don't you have that kid that has the huge dumpy ears? Like, these things have to have personality. If they all had perfect proportioned faces, you couldn't tell the difference between them.
Well, and I do agree with that, but I'll have to dig up pictures of his face, and you're going to be like, man, that face is fucked up.
Never mind, I agree with you.
Never mind. Yeah, forget it. You know what? Go edit that out. All that shit I was talking about the faces. Okay, so I'm not into Legends. I know you have some. These Magic Square Legends are super impressive to me.
They're very impressive.
Every single one of them I've seen so far has been awesome.
Yeah.
So we got an Inferno and a Grapple, so of course we got an R-Fire now. Who looks like Inferno wearing a wife beater and a pair of Chucks to me. I don't know if you're going to be able to get that out of your head now.
No, now he's just in a sweatsuit.
Yeah. It looks good. I mean, they're just... They look like mini masterpieces to me. Like, they don't... Like,
absolutely. And I'd love to say that, you know, given a time machine, I might go this route instead of Masterpiece, but we both know they're apples and oranges.
Right.
And I still want my apples, you know?
I agree.
But these look great. I wish I could get them all, you know? I wish I had room for multiple collections.
But you don't?
But I don't. So I want a couple of these to put without Skylinks.
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see like getting Legends or like with the combiners, like Toy World combiner, because you know with the mass shifting, sometimes the combiners were just like ridiculously sized,
right.
Which might like picture like a Legend size Starscream sitting on Zeta Toys Bruticus' shoulder.
Right, that's perfect.
Like you wouldn't even have to Photoshop that anymore. It might, you know, look right on the money. But yeah, this R-Fire looks good. So we got a blaster, and and
it looks like, looking at this from afar, it looks like the KFC, fully, you know, masterpiece scaled blaster. These things look fantastic with ankle tilt. Do they have wrist swivel? I think I've seen like most of them have had wrist swivel. I can't tell if this does.
It looks like that one's tilted a little bit. His right hand on the one shot. Double jointed at the bicep, so you can actually get up past 90 degrees, which is impressive. It's just because I remember when Legends first came out, they were really dumbed down and basically just for standing there, you know, not really a whole lot to them. But these here, man, I mean, it doesn't look like there's anything that they can't do that a Masterpiece could do.
Right.
Especially with the ankle tilts. Ankle tilts was definitely something that was brought in later on, you know, in the Legends game. We got the Trailbreaker.
Again, looks sweet. And I don't know why. I really like Trailbreaker. I don't know why I have a thing in my head for... Maybe it's because he's a drunk.
Like a robot man crush. He's a drunk.
In the IDW...
he's always hanging out of that McAdams, getting at that
Energon. But other character bios have always written him as kind of a button.
Yeah.
Because he needs more energy to produce his shields and
right.
stuff. So, I don't know. Identify with the guy. I like him.
He's got. It's like funny, like, because you've heard of people having like a Megatron shelf and like an Optimus Prime shelf, or like a Star, like Brother Kyle's got the Starscream collection or whatever. Like, I think maybe that you should have a Trailbreaker. It would be the oddest specialized collection of all time. Like, this is my Transformers and this is my Trailbreaker shelf, and just have like 6 different Trailbreakers. It would have people scratching their heads.
That's the beauty, though. I would only have to get like 6.
Right.
There aren't that many out there.
That many. What do we got? BACU, we got MMC, we got the upcoming Fans Toys one, if that ever happens.
Right.
This one.
Generation 1, Generations.
Yeah. So you're up to 7, if you count the officials.
Yep. They never made a Trailbreaker for the movie line.
No.
That's it.
That's it. So you're good. This
I'm
one.
good. And then this little guy.
This one looks pretty good, man.
It does.
Yeah.
Good job, Magic Scrap. Keep it up.
Iron Factory.
This is the Legend scale figure that I think I might get to stand next to my Skylines.
So we're looking at the Jazz. And I'm not sure exactly what they're calling him, but we're going to call him Jazz because that's what he is.
Yep.
And this is more of a Reveal the Shield looking Jazz, or more of like an IDW Jazz than a G1 Jazz, which is what Iron Factory usually does, little stylized versions of it. Jazz was always one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, mine too. I mean, we're talking about the 80s.
Yeah.
And he had that cool voice.
Yeah, right. Like him and I was associated with him and Blaster, like, as they were just, and they were into music.
Right.
So, like, I associated with Trailbreaker because he's a drunk guy. Associated with Jazz and Blaster because they like rock and roll, I guess. But yeah, it's a pretty nice looking Jazz, man. And I like how they did the speakers. The speakers kind of like built into the back of the arms, and they kind of fold out, which is kind of cool. It's nice.
The legs are really clean.
Yeah, very clean. But it's stylized, but there's definitely no question as to who he is.
Yep.
So
all you need is that blue and red stripe
and
on
a 4
white and a 4. Yep.
And we have a Jazz.
I mean, the alt mode is what it is.
Yeah.
It's a little tiny sleek car, but it's not the Porsche that it was, but that's fine.
Let's see what we got next. So we've seen these all before, but we're getting the Ruination version now. So this is Iron Factory's Bruticus, but it's Ruination. I'm not sure exactly what they're calling it. Individually, there's some weird colors, but I like them.
Yep.
And somehow in combined mode they fit together. But like I like the sand camouflage tank that they're doing for Brawl, and the green Jeep for or Hummer, I guess he is, kind of makes sense for Swindle. White and orange Blastoff, Movar I think his name was, and Rotor I guess was Vortex. And these are just like really strange colors. I love that blue.
Yeah, the blue is nice. It's muted. It's way better than like the candy-colored Skittles Bruticus that we got.
Yeah.
But it's these muted, bizarre colors, right? It's not a bright orange and bright neon green.
Right.
It's just like almost camo.
But even if I showed you all these individually and told you they were a combiner, you would think, man, that's going to be one ugly combiner. But when we actually take a look at it, he's really not bad looking.
Nope.
He doesn't look any weirder than any other combiner. Except for Devastator, obviously, because they're all the same color.
Right.
But any of the other combiners that have different colored arms and legs, again, not much to talk about because it is just a recolor of Bruticus. So
we're okay with the colors.
Yeah. It's two artistic people. The colors are fine.
And then a bunch of silhouetted blackouts.
So we have a Hound silhouette, a Wheeljack silhouette, a Cliff Jumper. I'm judging by the horns up here.
Yep.
And Mirage. So that should be pretty interesting. All kind of stylized IDW versions.
Yep. Again, comes back to that previous statement. For those who are waiting for your character, you're like,
they're coming.
Oh, where's my Legend scaled Wheeljack? You're getting it.
Well, you see, and I don't have it in here, but Toy World's doing a Legends Wheeljack and a Legends Jazz, I believe. but they're more straight G1.
Yep.
Up next, Planet X. I have no interest in the Planet X line.
Neither do I, but
worth talking about.
These still look great. Like, I love the video games. Loved them. I love playing. Like, I'd go back and play around today, but I'm not buying any of this.
No, me neither. And I think, we're looking right now. We're looking at the Ratchet and the Wheeljack, or Ratchet and Ironhide. I mean, and they look really good. All that being said, I don't like I don't like what they're based on to begin with. I wasn't really high on their designs a whole lot.
Okay.
They're all right.
I like them. When I played the game, I was like, that makes sense.
Oh, they definitely make sense. I just, But as far as the toys go, being based on those designs, I think they look fantastic. Yeah. I think they're going to do their job. Who else they got in here?
I don't own anything that they've made.
No, me neither. Me neither. Levy has the Dinobots. The Dinobots were pretty cool. I've seen them in person, and they do look pretty good. They're also doing a Death Star. It's so weird how all this time we never had a Death Star, and now we have two, but you know how that works.
Yep.
But we're getting a Planet X Death Stars, which is unique in the sense that Death Stars never appeared in that game, and they're obviously going for the game characters, but I think this opens a door for them to do characters that weren't seen in the game aesthetic. You know what I mean? Yep. And I think it's kind of cool.
Populate the universe. If you've got a niche and people that are still buying your toys, then go for it.
Yeah. So this is all I have for it, but it's nice looking.
Yep.
You know, it's definitely different from the MMC version, but it's still, you could place this in the video game universe and it would make sense, like the way it's designed, to me anyway. Mm-hmm. It still has all the signature parts of the original character, so we know what we're looking at. So should be pretty interesting.
Mostly just a giant breastplate.
Yeah. All right, moving right along. So we got this new company called Jingxing. And I doubt that I'm pronouncing that the right way.
I'm not even going to try. I'm just going to let you...
Just let me butcher the shit out of it. And their logo kind of looks like a robot penis, I think, a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I know, I see it. That's the head and that's the balls. Okay.
So they're doing a Transmetal 2 Megatron, I guess. It's like the Perfect Effect one that just came out. I saw these two together, and they Chosen Prime actually had this one in their case, and it is giant. Like, the Perfect Effect one was big, and it was obviously masterpiece size. This one towered over it, which was pretty interesting that they would make one that big. But it was in a case, so I didn't get a chance to really mess around with it.
I like this one a little bit more as far as doing the cartoon character properly goes. Right. Well, not properly. The Perfect Effect one is screen accurate as all get out, and the paint job is amazing and done to the nines. But this looks to me more like an action figure that would have been what the creators wanted. Yeah. But they were stuck in that weird boxy animation style. So
I guess we'll find out after it's painted. Yep. A little bit more. Because as of right now, and the one that I saw in Chicago was also just a gray model as well, so a 3D print, so or a prototype, I guess I should say. So, I mean, I have no attachment to Beast Wars or at all really, but I can say that looks pretty cool. Yeah. And if I did collect that stuff, I would really be psyched about it. But I don't know which way I would lean. After seeing this one, I don't know if I'd go Perfect Effect to this one. I guess we'll find out a little bit more once we see a little bit more of a color test shot, how it's going to look.
If this one is more fun to transform, then I would go that route.
I heard the Perfect Effect one's a bitch.
Yeah, but we touched on this earlier off camera, but I think that any transformation that at first is shocking, if you just sit on it, like you do it once and it went horribly, you barely got it back into the other mode, you were like sweating it out the whole time, sit on it for 2 months, 3 months, come back to it, and it'll seem really simple because either the same technology will have been used in a different way on another toy and you will have practiced, or you'll just be like, oh, now I get it. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back and mess with X-Transbots Wind Charger, because when I first transformed that thing, I wanted to fist fight people. So I'm gonna have to go back and give that a shot. And I'm pretty lenient with Transformers.
I had a very easy that's an example that went the opposite way for me, where I had a very easy first experience with it.
Yeah.
And I magically did the ankles right.
Yeah.
The first go out, and then returning to it, I mangled one of the ankles.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was actually gonna go get another one, and somebody was like, "Don't be an idiot and buy the same toy that you just broke."
Yeah.
Follow your own advice. If you want a different character, like another version of your character, just wait.
Just wait.
And it will be
wait and exercise.
Yeah. Live. Garbage.
So up next we got
We're sorry, Rising Force.
We have
Too
Rising
late to the party.
Rising Force. Man, this. I don't know if they got too much time into research and development and all that stuff to just stop this project, but they're coming out with a Menasor at absolutely the wrong time. Because we have so many Menasors. Not only do we have so many Menasors that are out already, Sunicon teams, we have more coming, and more probably coming by ones that people are waiting for, like the Fans Toys one. And I gotta imagine that Zeta's got one in the pipe.
Yep.
Gotta imagine. Because we saw Toy World tease a Menasor way back before the split with Zeta. So I gotta imagine there's another one, and for people that were already in on Toy World Constructor and the Bruticus and the Superion, will probably wait for that. And then you got your Fans Toys people who are that's a big crowd. So man, it's going to be interesting to see if
and if there's any double dipping. It's well, actually with this one, it's interesting because X-Transbots is bringing it. Like their Stunticons are actually competitive.
Yeah.
And they're certainly competitively priced.
Yeah.
So I see people double and triple dipping on a Menasor. I don't see them, like I see people going, oh, well, these X-Transbots ones are amazing. I'm going to get those. And they'll be my car mode or whatever.
Right.
And then Fans Toys, they'll be my robot mode. And then I'm going to get the Zeta one as well, because Zeta is going to do it, and I want it to scale with all my others.
X-Transbots was the wild card. Because fans, like in a situation like that, like where I see Fans Toys stuff, I'm going Fans Toys for the robot modes, Zeta for combined mode, and then X-Transbots threw a whole monkey wrench in that shit by coming out and being good. And it's like, oh, you know what? Fans Toys, for me at least, Fans Toys is out in the cold on this one. You know, but all that being said is a perfect example of why I'm not sure if anybody is going to buy the Rising Force one, because it's bad timing, man. You know, it's bad timing, and I'm looking at it and I'm not seeing anything about it that like blows my doors off to the point where it's like, you know what, I'm gonna just stop buying the X-Transbots ones right now so I could have these.
And again, we're looking at a great prototype.
Right.
Speaking of doors being blown off, it looks like parts of it were blown off. It looks like it's missing a crotch. It looks like there's no wraparound on the back. The shoulder pylons that come from the front of the car look too big. Like they don't belong there. Like they're gonna fall off at any second.
Yeah, I'm hoping that there's some sort of mistransformation going on there, because you're right, that middle section is just, I don't know, it's very...
If anything, it looks like it didn't get spun 180.
I was thinking that myself.
But then the legs would be backwards.
Well...
So, unless they swivel at the knee.
Yeah. But then if they swivel at the knee...
Oh, no, because they swivel at the...
Or the hip, but this part, the part on the side of the shin will be on the inside then.
And you can't do that.
Which would make zero sense.
Right.
So... You know what? Let's leave it at the jury's out on this one. The jury's out, but the jury's not looking so hot. Mastermind Creations. We talked over Skylinks already.
Yep. You look great, Skylinks.
You look great, Skylinks. You look great, Skylinks.
Zeph, we talked about.
Okay, Ocular Max. Speaking of wild cards. So these were revealed at the last TFCon, but not quite as in depth as this one.
But they had a couple on site, right?
They had the Onslaught and the Vortex, and they actually had them combined, sitting on the table. Just
how'd that look?
Look pretty damn good, man. Look pretty good. But again, nothing that really, nothing that made me want to like get rid of my Zeta. The one thing I can say though is that for as good as Unique Toys, Swindle and Brawl looked, this blast off, their blast off and Vortex was a little weird looking.
Yep.
And I'm really kind of liking how this blast off looks. They got the colors right. You know, the sculpt. I mean, at least in a render form, as we're looking at it, it looks right. And the vortex also looks. Let me get back to it. The vortex also looks right.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that the ones that we have look bad, but they started out with very, I don't want to say screen accurate, because they're like the old Masterpiece, screen accurate but with detail. But then when they got to the vortex and the blast off, they kind of got away from that a little bit for some reason, and made them stylized. So
doesn't make any sense.
Not a whole lot. And there's part of me that would maybe, since they're going to be in robot mode forever, and I'm not going to combine them because I have the Zeta one to combine teams. That will drive my OCD crazy, I think. I don't know.
But you might have to do it.
But I might have to do it.
I mean, if you're not going to combine them, you've already got your combiner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go for it. I'm thinking about doing it with the Menasor. You know, like, I already have I realize it's way out of scale, but I already have a Fans Project Menasor that can sit on my shelf and be my combined mode with all my TFC scaled and Warbitron scaled combiners. So I'm thinking if my guys are just going to stay in robot mode, I can go ahead and get the Fans Toys Motormaster and finish off the rest of the team with X-Transbots. That's fine. I don't care. I'm not going to combine them. I don't have to get together.
Yeah, we'll have to see what goes on. One thing I did notice about the Vortex, they covered up you can't see the hand anymore, because these are going to be all inclusive, the combiner parts, and they put like a plate over the inside of the leg so you can't see the hand anymore. That's a definite step up. That's
what I'm most intrigued about.
Yeah.
Is how well did they cover that stuff?
Because of time, I just noticed that we only we went way long.
How's it going? Good.
We're gonna rip into the last section, which is the Fans Toys section.
Oh, which we already have covered.
We covered some of it. The aerial bots look crazy awesome.
Yep.
They look crazy awesome. And I don't know why, but it warms my heart that they chose to use names from Top Gun for all the characters. So we got Silverbolt, who's going to be Maverick. Looks awesome.
He does.
In both modes, even though
So everyone's always apologetic about Silverbolt looking okay from the top in vehicle mode, but having a chunky bottom, and I'm not. I want somebody to find a way to fill it all in. Like, we're talking Masterpiece here, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're not. We can't give the trademark to Fans Toys for that, but they're in that market,
right? And
they're trying to be. So close it up, man.
That's going to be tough to do. I get what you're saying, but it's going to be...
The engineering feats that they've accomplished so far, but I don't know. It looks pretty tidy as far as Silver... See, I'm doing it too. I'm making it as far as
Silverbolt's going to look, yeah. We got Goose here.
Goose's dive bomb.
Yeah, it looks good. And I like that they're close in height, which is cool. I always like that. Like, I always hated, I mean, back in the day it was ridiculous. You have this humongous torso bot and these little tiny. But as time goes on, they're finding a way to make them a little bit closer in height, which I kind of dig. Yeah, he looks good.
Yeah, the lines look great. They look very cartoon animated with a taper down.
Yeah. Got Blur.
Yep.
Finally, some color pictures of them.
Again, what they're doing is tidier than what anybody else has done in the past.
Yeah.
Unique Toys Blur is amazing. Love it. I'll probably end up just sticking with that. Budgetary-wise, just like, I've got one, but it's cleaner.
Yeah.
And it fits right in with the rest of because everything else I own from the movie is Fans Toys.
Fans Toys, yeah, right. How about it?
And Ultra Magnus MP, but...
Yeah, I think...
the gun is nice.
Everything's nice. And even in RC, I realized they didn't exactly hit a home run with RC. She still looks great, but, the rest, man, it falls right in. It falls right in.
I'm pretty apologetic for that RC. I like her just fine.
Yeah, she's all right. I mean,
the lack of fully tabbing in at the waist is pretty unforgivable.
And then
that gap in the chest.
Yeah, well. Okay, we talked about Braun. I think the last thing
is Beachcomber.
Is this Beachcomber? Was there anything after that? Oh, Jesus. Yeah. The Beachcomber. I'm going to tell you why I was going to keep Arcos. I think Arcos is fine. And then I saw this shot of him from the front and the back, and I'm like, man, that's so clean. Like, from all sides, it's so clean.
Yep.
And I kind of think Arcos, even though he's good, is going to be out the door. It's basically trading in a 9 for a 10.
I agree.
And I'm judging that totally based on Fans Toys' reputation for putting out good stuff. Like, it's probably going to be this big, and it's probably going to weigh 15 pounds.
Yep.
But it's going to be like a rock, you know, and it's so clean from all angles. Like, it's hard for me to not say that I'm not going to get that thing.
Yeah, this is a case where I'm going to get it, and I'll just convert my XTB into vehicle mode, and it'll go on the vehicle mode shelf.
All right, we got one last thing we got to squeeze in here.
Yep.
In the last 5 minutes, and that is this Fans Toys Motormaster Road King, they're calling him. Man.
Which, you know, line for line, he looks a lot like the drawings we've seen for the X-Transbots one.
Right.
But we know for a fact that this one's fully contained transformation.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how the hell they're going to do that. Because he is the size of MP10 in truck mode.
Yep.
You know, I mean, I got your picture right there. And they're going to somehow make a robot that is as tall as MP10.
He's definitely beefier, though. You can tell that in the pictures.
Yeah, yeah.
And I can't wait. Can't wait. It makes so much sense.
I think here's what we came up with on BNS. We think that the feet are a faux cab that's somehow inside the trailer, and all that leg is all trailer panels folded down on top of each other like some kind of accordion with some kind of wrapper part around the outside that makes it look solid with a faux piece of cab on the front for the feet.
100%.
That's what we think it is.
Yeah, because they show a car going into the back of the trailer, so we know it's hollow.
Yeah. Yep. That's what we came up with. And even if we're right on the money, it's still going to impress the shit out of me when I actually see it happen.
Yep.
Because that is pretty crazy.
Yep.
Because that's, MP10 with the trailer on it is a pretty sizable piece, and he's the same size, and getting that all into a 10-inch robot, man, it's going to be pretty impressive.
Oh. Kills me. Kills me. Because I am one of those guys who's like, I only need one version of any figure. And I'm doubling up on so many of them. So basically I'm full of shit, but just seeing that Silverbolt and that Motormaster next to each other.
Yeah, there was another, like that just looks awesome.
Going head to head. People don't pose them that way often enough on their shelves.
No.
You know, it's almost always, here's this team, here's that team.
Right. Like that, when I see that picture, Motormaster and Silverbolt, like as a kid, when you picture not watching the cartoons, like your vision of the characters in your head, like that's what it looks like right there.
Yep. They made it happen.
Yeah. Pretty crazy. So, anyways, that's the last slide, and that's in good time because this thing closes at 4 and it's 3:57.
All right.
So this is a little something new I wanted to try on the channel a little bit. So thanks for hanging out with me all day and helping out with the table. This is Nate.
Welcome.
So everybody say bye to Nate.
Goodbye, internets.
And we'll see everybody next time.